feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it's in your
Hello and welcome back to the Shrimp Tank post-show video wrap-up. My name is Lee Heisen with my co-host Chris Hanks and my additional co-host Joey Ruiz from the KSU Entrepreneurship Center. We were so happy. It was such good information today from our two guests today, Seth Taylor and Dean Ruiz Fung-a-Wing from Kairos IoT. Gentlemen, so much content you gave about partnerships, about your business, but most people are going to wonder, what is Kairos IoT? Can you explain your business and what you do?
Absolutely. Thank you, Lee, and thanks for having us on the show. We've had a lot of fun. So Kairos IoT Water Controls is a technology company designed to connect and control water within your house using a device that will connect to the water main, and then leak sensors that can be dispersed throughout the home underneath, like any water or plumbed fixture like a washing machine or dishwasher. And so they work together to send information to our cloud where we do analytics and send that information back to the customer, giving them real-time feedback and hopefully give them preventative information about things that might be going wrong within their house, within appliances, or whether your toilet has a stopper that's up and it's just leaking water. So that's what we're trying to do, Lee.
It's awesome.
Trying to solve the water problem.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I heard you guys refer to when we were talking about the specifics of your business on the show was you referred to a board of advisors, but we didn't go into detail about like the importance of a board and how one goes about assembling one.
Absolutely. To answer your question about the importance, navigating a startup, especially a technology startup, I mean, I came from an appliance service company, which is a service-driven business. And if you're going to go in a product-driven business, you probably need some people who can help you navigate that world. And I've never done it before, and a lot of CEOs have never done it before. So I just had to, I had to lean heavily on the expertise of the leaders who have gone before me in that space and know how to deal with manufacturers and know how to deal with contracts with major companies, and because we're about to navigate that space. And so it's always nice to walk through a minefield if you're following somebody. So they are I was able to assemble the board to answer the second part of the question because through my appliance service business, and I've serviced a lot of high-end homes here in the Atlanta area, and a lot of those customers are very successful, either entrepreneurs themselves or just executives, senior executives. And so, we have the former VP of Cisco on our board, and we have, CEOs of, very successful technology companies that have been in the business for 20 or 30 years. And so, and then the co-founder of Park Mobile. So, we were able to assemble that because I've built relationships with them over 8 and 9 years because of the appliance service industry. And so it's a little bit different. I mean, it's kind of a miracle how we put it all together, but I just kind of shake and go, that's awesome, and I'm glad they're on the team. But if I wasn't, if you didn't have an appliance business where you face with 13,000 customers on a very personal basis, I would say try to get around as many successful people as you can possibly get to. You can always learn something from other people, and I think when they see your vision and they like you and they want to buy in, they want to help you out, especially they can leave a legacy that way as well too. So advisors are always out there.
And I love how one business led to the next one. You're continuing to progress and grow and add people to your team. But when you're first starting out, there's a lot of friends who say, hey, let's start a business together. You write down the idea on a napkin, and then you dive in, not fully knowing the implications of what a partnership means. And it was fascinating on the show. You talked about how you guys work together as partners and just kind of through the School of Hard Knocks, learned more about each other, and then later on assembled an operating agreement and formalized it. So can you talk briefly about partnerships in the early stage, what you look for, and what's the most important factor for success?
Absolutely. I would say, when we first started the company, whenever you have a product-driven business, you have the ideation of the product where you're just kind of massaging, like, how do we really want this thing to work? And you're just chatting back and forth. So to like iron out, exact percentages in an operating agreement and like get all these legal terms pinned down, it's like cutting up air, like who owns what, it's like you can talk about that stuff, but you need to massage the idea a little bit, see if it's got a product market fit, right? Do some validation testing early on. And then, what we found out through multiple conversations and advisory board meetings and just kind of poking around and trying to, just really narrow down so many decisions that have to be made, we kind of saw how each other thought. through these processes, right? Were we arguing about it loudly and vocally? No, we had some passionate conversations, but at the same time, we knew what we wanted to get to at the end goal, because I had the vision, here's what I want the technology to ultimately do. And so as we all worked as team members to arrive at that point, we saw how we interacted with one another. And like I said, most of the guys on our board, I've already known for 8 or 9 years. So just they saw how I operate a business. And so it was a natural thing for them to say, well, at least I think they think, that, hey, I know this guy. I know how he operates his other business. I know how he's going to operate this next business. So that's kind of what happened with us. And so we've grown through that. And when we finally looked each other in the face and said, okay, we need to raise capital and we need to go to the manufacturer, that's when we said, this is getting real. We need to get money and we need to have an operating agreement in place. I had already, as the early founder of the company, offered everyone equity up front because I wanted them to give their time and energy to the business. And so I did that early on.
That's very smart.
A promise of future equity. And
Well,
I kept that promise.
That's really smart information. And again, Dean, you guys you've done it before. You're going about it the right way. If people want to get in touch with you, if they want to be a part of the organization, be an investor, or even keep an eye out as you produce your products, how would they get in touch with you?
So they can actually get in touch with us through email, through info@kairosiotwc.com, or they can call me directly, actually, at 757-694-1179. I don't mind getting phone calls late night.
We know.
I work with this guy.
You guys are hardworking individuals. Well, guys, we learned a few things on the show. Of course, I recommend listening to the show in its entirety. But you've always heard the statement, you don't have to outrun a bear, you just have to outrun your friend. I learned a new one today from Dean, that you just don't, you want to walk through a minefield second. Is that correct? You want to
right.
behind somebody.
Absolutely.
But that's really a good key point for entrepreneurs, as you do want to follow your leaders. And part of Chris and the Entrepreneurship Center, you are constantly putting your students and the people with entrepreneurial mindsets in touch with successful CEOs because you want to learn from their experience. So guys, thank you from Kairos for coming out on the show. And that was our post-show video wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.